After the absolute disaster that was Kylie Swim, I can't be the only one who's surprised that Kylie Jenner dove back into swimwear, and we now have swimwear from her brand called KHY. This is actually my first time trying KHY, but I was a victim of Kylie Swim. I've tried Skim Swim, so I'm no stranger to the Kardashian brands. So today we're gonna see if Kylie has redeemed herself and actually has come out with some swimwear that maybe has more than a finger's width of coverage for the downstairs, maybe isn't single-lined and incredibly sheer, and hopefully just has some functionality. The website had a 10-item limit, so I was only able to get 10 things, so I definitely prioritized the swimwear over the cover-ups. And I haven't opened anything yet because I really wanted it to be my first impressions as well. There's definitely a much bigger range of coverage, styles, functionality, at least in appearances, compared to Kylie Swim. So first of all, let's talk about pricing compared to Kylie Swim. So I actually did purchase Kylie Swim. I don't have any of it anymore and it's no longer available. It was a one-time drop, never to be seen again. It was all through like KylieJenner.com too. She didn't even like really create much of a brand to sell it. So it all just felt like very much like a cash grab and not as much thought was put into it. And although this is my first time trying KHY, I think that this brand just has a little bit more thought put into it. Like it actually is a clothing brand that has been around for a little while and now it's coming out with swimwear rather than just waking up one day and being like, we're gonna do micro swimwear with single-lined sheer fabrics. That being said, I was surprised to see the pricing of this. The tops are between $36 and $40. The bottoms are all under $40 and the one pieces are around like $75 to $80. In general, I think swimwear is incredibly overpriced. I've even seen some deep dives on TikTok into the markups of swimwear and they have way higher margins than regular clothing, so I don't understand why we are just accepting to spend this much money on swimwear. I do understand that I'm part of the problem because I did buy these, but normally I don't spend this much money on swimwear, or I try not to. But anyways, I looked back at what I spent on Kylie Swim and the swim tops were $40, the bottoms were $40, and the one pieces were $80. So while that's not significantly more expensive for how low quality those pieces were compared to what I'm hopefully expecting today, at least a little bit better, I'm surprised to see that Kylie Swim is actually more expensive than KHY. In terms of coverage as well, Kylie Swim was definitely marketed as micro swimwear, which I get I may not have been the target audience for that because I do actually expect to swim in my swimwear, or at least be able to move slightly in my swimwear. It wasn't possible in Kylie Swim. And while there definitely are like teeny bikini options in this KHY swimwear, there are also some more functional looking options, as well as a pretty full coverage one piece that we picked up today that kind of gives like retro vibes, already appealing to more coverage preferences of people, which is just like a win right off the bat. And hopefully we'll have more than single lined swimwear today. So let's get into trying all the swimwear. If you're liking this review, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. And let's dive in. So there were a couple different color options. Honestly, the colors were kind of reminding me of Kylie Swim, and that we're getting like that kind of like orangey, pinky sunset vibes. So there was some cherry red, some sunset orange, some brown, and some black. And those were the main colors that KHY Swim was coming in. So we're going to start off with the scoop neck bikini top. And just a little side note, I like that the bags didn't like completely fall apart as soon as I ripped it open. So I got everything in a size small. That's what I got in Kylie Swim as well. And just based on my experience with swimwear, that's what fits me. All the measurements are in the description down below. Okay, so these are very much first impressions. This is the scoop neck bikini top in the color Sunset, and I got a size small. So right off the bat, I'm having trouble figuring out which side is the front and which is the back. I think this one is the front. So the first thing we're noticing here is that they are indeed double lined, which means we have a layer of fabric on the outside and on the inside. Like I was saying, Kylie Swim was one single layer on the outside and it was pretty awful. The outer material is a polyester spandex and the lining is a nylon spandex. And they are sewn together, so this is not a completely seamless swimsuit, which I actually prefer. I find that with these seamless edge swimsuits, the edges roll a lot and they don't stay in place very well. So as long as this is stretchy, that's okay with me. It actually looks like it may be seamless along the bottom, but along the armpit area and everything else, there are seams. So this is definitely less coverage than I was expecting. This is going to be pretty small, but we have a flat across band, kind of a deep V, tank straps. So this is definitely a little bit more sporty of a shape than like a classic triangle swimsuit. The material does feel like a classic swimwear material. It's a little bit shiny. It feels very lightweight. It has some stretch to it. And while I'm definitely feeling like this is better than Kylie Swim so far, I think $40 is a lot for what this is. Like there's really no structure to it. It doesn't feel that great. I'm a little bummed that there is no removable cup padding because that can definitely help with sheerness. And if we look at the side in here, there definitely seems to be some weird kind of gathering of the fabric and it's just not sitting super smoothly. So I'm not sure how good the construction is, but let's try this one on. Okay, so I'll just tell you right now that this is the most coverage of a top that we're getting in this video. And it's not enough. So before anyone tells me to size up, as soon as I size up, the band is gonna be too loose and I'm gonna be falling out the bottom because I'm already starting to fall out the bottom a little bit. So this one is not large cup size friendly. I would say, you know, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but like nothing's large cup size friendly, which I don't understand because Kylie has a larger chest. I know she has implants, but still we want some coverage going on. Like she's a mom. I don't get it. Anyways, we have that little seam along the bottom, but it's not really helping with the spillage down there. I'd say overall this is low coverage. Again, the picture on the website made it look like it was gonna have more coverage, so I'm a little bit bummed there. I'm also just bummed with like the lack of any padding in here. I like to have the option of removable cups when I can. This is a very comfortable swimsuit. None of these straps or any seams are cutting into me or anything. Everything's pretty comfortable. I still feel like I'm getting some weird wrinkling on the side there, like the seams were just not quite done right there. Not large cup size friendly. I also have questions about if this one's sheer. So we'll see if this one holds up to water. And then the back, I'm not loving the back. I feel like I could use more of like a scoop back instead of this triangle back because it just kind of looks like I'm wearing it backwards. Like something's off with this back design. I also feel like it does cut a little bit close to the lats here. And I do my fair share of lat pull downs, so we're getting cut in a little bit there, but it's not uncomfortable. It's just like, I just notice it now that I turn around. So yeah, I like this one in theory, but if it had a little bit more structure, maybe a little bit more room for the girls, I'd be on board. But unfortunately, the way it is right now, it's gonna be a pass. Then I got two different bottoms to match the sunset top. I have the high rise bikini bottoms and then the high waist bikini bottoms. Let's start out with the high rise. So I got this in a size small and it's $36. So again, this is double lined. This is definitely a more minimal coverage bottom. We don't have a lot of fabric looking from the front here, but I'm okay with a minimal coverage bottom. I would say this definitely looks better than what we had with Kylie Swim. I like that this is a high leg swimsuit. I find that to be very flattering. Same material as the top. And if we remember Kylie Swim, the coverage down there was very, very minimal. It was super thin. It's definitely not wide girl friendly down there. So I will compare this to just a regular swimsuit I have in my closet just to see how that is. And when I tried Kylie Swim, the hygiene liners were literally wider than the Kylie Swim little coverage area down there. So this brand is definitely more thought out because we have custom liners that say Kai on them, but they're kind of more thong shaped down here. They're definitely not covering like the whole area down there. So just be a little cautious. Just comparing the bottom coverage, I put the Kai bikini over top of a Pop Flex swimsuit, and you're definitely getting a little bit more coverage on the Pop Flex one. It's definitely not as crazy as Kylie Swim. And then I also have an Abercrombie bikini. Let's just compare that. Now laying it over top an Abercrombie bikini that I have, the coverage is basically the same. So here's a close-up of the Kai over the Abercrombie, and you can see it's really not that much less. So I definitely don't think it's made for wider girls down there, but I think we're a little bit closer to the industry standard for lip width down there than we were before. So let's try these on. Okay, so here are the bottoms. And honestly, I really like how these are fitting on me. I really like the leg line. I like the overall shape. It's definitely lower coverage in the back, but it's not like thong level. So let's quickly chat about these. First of all, they definitely have a lower rise. These are not a high rise swimsuit. They're just a high leg line. So it goes from a low rise and then comes up onto the hip bones here. And like we talked about, there are seams along the edges here. They're not cutting in anywhere though. They're just preventing the swimsuit from rolling. So I prefer to have these lines than to be completely seamless. In terms of front coverage, I would say moderate to full front coverage. I feel pretty covered down there. I really don't feel like we're gonna have any mishaps, so I would feel comfortable doing activity in this swimsuit, at least the bottoms, not the top. This is a high cut leg line without me having to really pull it up too much, so I really like that. I think it's very elongating on the legs. Goes up and over the hips here. And then, like I said, in the back, it's definitely a lower coverage. I feel like this might go up the cheeks a little bit back there, so definitely expect low coverage in the back. Although it's not rolling, it could just kind of like get up there. I also would say this is true to size. These fit like most of my small swimsuit bottoms. When I'm wearing these right now, I'm not feeling any quality issues or anything. So I'd say these ones are good, and definitely this is like what I look for in a swimsuit bottom. One more coverage option I saw for these sunset bottoms. We have the high waist bikini bottoms in Sunset, and these were $34. Definitely a good amount more coverage on these. Instead of being like a low waist with a high leg, they're just overall a high rise. We have that same material. We have a seamless edge around the top. The leg opening does have a little bit of a seam, which definitely helps with rolling. And again, they're just kind of using the same like thong shaped hygiene liner for all of the bottoms, when I feel like it should cover just a little bit more of the swimsuit. Normally it's kind of like more panty liner shaped where it kind of goes in and then out again. This is just tapering down and then ending, so just is not giving a lot of protection down there, which this is something that you remove, so it's like not a big deal, but just mentioning it. Let's try these on. Okay, here we have these bottoms, and honestly, so far, so good with the bottoms. Like, I feel like she's really trying to bring us multiple coverage options, multiple rise heights, and just like, you know, we got a range with the bottoms. So these I would say are a mid to high rise. They're almost at the belly button, so it just kind of depends on your own definition. I do have a long torso. We do have a seam at the top here, so there is a possibility of some cutting in at the top. I'd say it's not really bad, but if you carry more weight in the midsection, you might get a little bit of cutting in there, so just keep that in mind. The front coverage on this one is full. Like, nothing's coming out there. Really impressed with the front coverage here. So this one is a high rise, but it's not quite as high on the leg as the last ones we tried. My hip bone is right here. So it's almost there, but it's not like a super high cut leg line. So I still prefer the other ones. And then the coverage in the back here is honestly pretty good. I would say this is a solid mid to full coverage. I don't feel like this is super cheeky. We have that little seam there that I don't think is cutting in really, but it's just kind of keeping the swimsuit there. So yeah, this one isn't my personal favorite style. I prefer the other one, but I think these bottoms look very functional. I would be totally comfortable doing any sort of swim activities and not needing to adjust this extensively. I think this one is definitely like a solid bottom for people looking for a little bit more coverage. It's not gonna be full coverage, but it's something. That's saying a lot coming from Kylie Swim. All right, next I wanna try the one piece. This is the vintage hipster one piece in the color cherry. Clearly, oh my gosh, it's like almost a perfect match in the color. Clearly I'm feeling the red right now. So this was $78 and I got a size small, and I definitely struggle to fit into one pieces, so I hope that this one works, but here it is. The shape is interesting. Personally, I like a high leg bikini bottom. I have a long torso, so anything that I can do to elongate my legs, I do. And I find that these kind of low hip designs don't really do that, but you do get a lot more coverage. So I just wanted to try it because a Kylie Jenner swimwear company actually trying to have coverage is pretty crazy. Like this swimsuit in comparison to the one pieces that we had for Kylie Swim, it's actually unbelievable how different these are. So first thing, the fabric is the same. We have a scoop neck, tank straps, and the back is a hefty scoop in the back. So this reminds me of that like viral swimsuit that they were like giving away for free that was like probably a scam, where the back was just super low. We do have a seam up the back here, which I think is going to be helpful in the back, just sitting a little bit closer to your back and not gaping away. The coverage in the back is looking good. Bottom coverage down here, again, it's not like crazy thick, but it's not too skinny. And then this is double lined, but unfortunately there's no cup pads, built-in bra, or anything. So when I wear a one piece, I do like a little bit of support. So after seeing this personally would be a skip for me because I know I'm not going to get any support out of it, but let's try it on. I actually don't think I've ever looked worse in a swimsuit. I knew that there were a lot of things about this swimsuit that weren't appealing to what I normally go for, but this just reiterated it because this is giving me the body of a 10-year-old. So not feeling it. First of all, the fact that we just have like the lining on the inside, no cups, no built-in bra, and it just feels like everything is dragging down. It's just like completely squished me down. I put in some cups in here just for something, but I'm not feeling lifted. I'm not feeling flattered up here. So if you have any sort of a bust, it's gonna be a no. It's definitely a little bit tight on the straps here. I am kind of used to that because I'm 5'9" and my torso is pretty long. And maybe it's just not the style I'm used to seeing myself in, but I personally just am not liking how I look in this. Like I said, the leg line is super low. Is it kind of giving hourglass maybe? Maybe it's giving more box. I don't know. But we have those seams along there. Front coverage is full, so that's good news. But then we go to the back and we have these caves in the side here. These valleys, these areas where you could drive a bus through. And that's the issue with these scooping back swimsuits. I don't think I've ever had like a scooping back swimsuit like this that has actually fit well everywhere else. Where there's just room in the waist, there's room in the sides here. Like there's nothing that can like hold this swimsuit together so that it would actually fit around here. So I don't know why I expected this to be any better, but this one's a no for me. The back actually is cutting into me a little bit here, so I'd be aware of that. Personally, I could not size up in this because it would just be gaping everywhere else, but I'm definitely getting some cutting in at the bottom here. Overall, I would say that this is full coverage on the bottom though. It is scooping really low though. So you might see things from the top and the sides. Even though this is the most full coverage option, I'm still not feeling like this is functional in any way. It's not holding me in up top. I feel like the sides are just a little bit of a risk here. So she did have other one-piece options. A lot of them were sold out in my size. And I liked that this one was a little bit different and so different from her last swimwear collection. But yeah, I just don't think it's for me. All right, the last couple pieces, we have the classic triangle bikini top. This was $34. Okay, and I'm starting to get some Kylie Swim flashbacks because this is super micro. I think I got all of the tops. The only top that I didn't get was the bandeau bikini top. So far all of the tops have been pretty micro coverage. And when you scroll on the website, they're just showing images of the items by themselves. You're not seeing them on models. So like for the scoop neck bikini top, it looked like it had a lot more coverage than it does. So now that I'm looking back, there really are no good coverage items for the tops. And I'm clicking through the items now to see, and her size range is pretty good. It's extra, extra small to 4XL, but all of the models are basically the same, like pretty thin model that doesn't really have much of a bust. So I think I kind of over anticipated how well this is going to fit me as a larger cup size. So anyways, I'm a bit nervous to try this now, but I guess Kylie just doesn't like a lot of coverage on the top. My last note before we talk about this is the only swimsuit that's labeled as micro is the triangle top. None of the other tops are labeled as micro, but this is feeling pretty micro. So we have a thin band at the bottom that feels like it's made of elastic. We have a triangle shape, and there's this little dart detail, and we do have that nylon lining again, but again, there's no padding in these swimsuits. And I know the padding can be pretty divisive. It definitely does prevent nippage and helps with sheerness. So I don't think this red color we're going to have an issue with sheerness, but with the sunset color, it's a possibility. Definitely excited to see that the straps are adjustable here. In the back, there are 3 different hooks you can hook this into for very slightly adjusted coverage. It's really not very much. They're all like kind of right next to each other. So let's try it on. Okay, I wasn't expecting that much from this one, but I will say I'm just disappointed at the lack of any cup pads in here. Super micro coverage, so definitely low coverage, low support. We do have that band along the bottom here. I think this would be cute for smaller cup sizes, but I just would have liked to see more top options for a little bit more coverage. The straps are adjustable, but I just don't really think this one is fitting me that well because the band is already coming up in the back, and that's usually a sign that the band is like too big because it just kind of moves around. And even though it's aligned, it's just very thin, and the coverage and functionality just aren't doing it for me. So, and to go with that top, we have the classic bikini bottom. Okay, this one is tiny. This one's tiny. So this one is $34, and this swimsuit is literally, it's just giving Kylie Swim. Like, do we see how the coverage has disappeared on the bottom? That's literally 2 fingers worth. Oh no. Guys, I felt like this was starting out so good. Here we have that red one over the high-waisted bikini bottom, and we're definitely getting some skinny lip coverage down there. So that's unfortunate. This swimsuit is for the ladies who are missing a Kylie Swim and the minimal coverage. I will say we still have double lining. There are seams along the edges to kind of keep them staying put a little bit. They didn't even bother to stick the little hygiene liner in at the right angle here, and pretty micro coverage in the back. I do like how the sides of this one are adjustable, and they're not like tied straps, so you know they're not coming undone. It's just adjustable, kind of like a bra strap. Let's try it. These are super micro. It's not for me. If I thought the orange ones were a low rise, this is an ultra low. Because of that, I feel like we're getting more front coverage than expected, but I'm still gonna say it's low because it's definitely a very skinny little band down there. I like that the side adjustable ties are actually like the bra straps, so they're super easy to adjust and you know they're not going to come undone. And then the back is like thong coverage. So this is not a style that personally I would go for. You definitely can't move around in this very safely without risking a mishap. I do find this one true to size. Honestly, it's not as bad as I thought, but this level of coverage just isn't my personal preference. Okay, I wanted to try a couple other more unique pieces that she came out with. And this one, I am not entirely sure how it's going to be functional, but we're gonna try. You may ask, how is this a swim top? And I have the same question. This is the Corset Swim top in a size small. And I stand corrected when I said all of the tops were $40 or under because this one is actually $58. I don't even know like how I'm going to fit into this. This is probably the weirdest swim top I've ever seen. It's meant to be more of like a waist length top. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so small. Like, how is this a size small? This is like 6 inches wide. Okay, I'm a little nervous. So basically we have that same swim material, but we have this boning going vertically across the whole swimsuit. Where's the front? Okay, is this the front? I think the zipper goes down the side because this looks like it's the front and then it has a little bit of a sweetheart detail. Then it has a hook and eye closure and then zips completely up the side. And this one is actually single lined. So I'm definitely feeling like so far the swim tops, there's been no thought for people who have, you know, a larger natural chest who need like a little bit of support. I'm not talking about like running on the beach, okay? But like the girls need a little bit of help staying up and being covered. And I don't think these swim tops have really been made for that. So here's a close-up of the inside. You can see it's one single layer of the fabric and it's just folded over at the top edge. So I'm a little upset to see that it doesn't have the same inner lining that all of the rest of the swim tops have. As a comparison, the one piece has like this like nylon lining and we just don't have that on this one. So let's see how this goes. Okay, I know this is like corset top, but given the nature of this fabric, we were never really gonna get a corset effect anyway, but this is so hard to get on. Like I'm literally getting like cramps right now trying to get this zipped up. I'm worried. Ow! Oh my gosh, I just pinched my skin. Okay, I did it. Wow, okay. Okay, I put on some pads under this just to make sure that it's not sheer, but I'm just gonna say right now, this top is not worth it. First of all, like the boning is doing such weird things. It's like buckling at the sides. I can't see this being actually used for swimwear. They didn't line it, which is like weird. Everything else is lined except for this top. Honestly, the coverage on the top is the best we've seen so far. I'm getting a solid like medium coverage here. I don't even know if I'm wearing it right. I think I am because these areas kind of come up a little bit. But just looking at how long this is here, it's reaching the top of my hips and kind of like buckling a little bit, and I have a very long torso. I am 5'9" and mostly torso. So the fact that this is going over these swimsuit bottoms for me, I just feel like this is going to be very uncomfortable for anyone who has a shorter torso than me, which is like most people. So I just can't see this fitting people very well. It just doesn't feel super well made. The boning areas are just kind of like pushing out weirdly. Yeah, I don't really think it's like actually snatching me. It's definitely snug along the waist area because it was so tight to get on. I don't necessarily know if I would size up, but really I just wouldn't get this one. And then it's really high along the lats, so it's definitely cutting into like that armpit area in the back there. So this one, I thought this was like a cute, fun idea. No. And then another more interesting bottom. Oh my gosh, you're kidding me. Wait, this is the ultra mini swim skirt and it's $35, and maybe this is my mistake, but when you look at it on the website, it looks like the model is just wearing this by itself with no bottoms, and this is literally just a little tube. So I don't know what this is supposed to cover, but it is an ultra mini swim skirt, okay? It's an ultra mini, so that's on me. But I thought you'd be able to wear this by itself without any bottoms underneath it because it's the same price as the bottoms, so I just kind of assumed that. But it's basically just a little tube. So same fabric, it does have seams along the top and the bottom, and it has that nylon lining. I guess if you really wanted, you could probably wear this as a top as well, so it's a little 2-for-1. But we'll see how much coverage this has because it's not very much. I need to look on the website. Okay, this is very much my bad because they're definitely wearing a swimsuit underneath it. It says micro mini intended to be a layering piece, so that's my fault. We will layer this over something then. I do like that it's made of a swim material. So you're actually meant to go in the water in this, so it's not just like a cover up, it's something you can actually like kind of swim in. Although I don't think it would stay on very well because I could see this like riding up super easily, but let's try it. Okay, so we're gonna roll this top up just so we can see the bottoms a little bit better, but this is kind of how they're wearing it on the website. They have the string bikini kind of showing like that underneath. Overall, I'd say this is about a mid-rise compared to the bikini under here that goes all the way down there. This one definitely is more of a mid-rise. I would definitely say it's true to size. I'm not feeling like it's too tight anywhere, and you kind of need it to be tight to stay in place. It's definitely giving you a little bit more coverage. So I do see this as an alternative to having maybe like a boy short bottom, just like having your normal swim bottoms and then putting a little skirt over top. Because I like how it just kind of like hides everything a little bit more. If you're a little bit self-conscious about some of these areas, I feel like it's just like kind of gives you that coverage without being just like a short. And this definitely gives more coverage than a short. I don't really like to see this over top, but you could choose whatever swim bottoms you want to maybe not do that. But it's covering fully down there. I thought I was gonna be hanging out of it, but I'm not. So is this something that I think I would wear? No, but I do see the purpose of it. It would have been nice if it had built-in swim bottoms so that you could just wear this as one piece. I think that would have been a nice alternative, but even though it's not my thing, I definitely see a purpose. And then we have the ruched tie bikini bottoms. And honestly, this is looking like more coverage than the last one. This one is lined with that nylon lining. The whole swimsuit is along this one little strap here, and it only ties at one side. There's no tie on the other side, but it still is adjustable. And the whole swimsuit can kind of be moved along this strap. So there's definitely some adjustability there as well. The coverage is looking a little bit better down here too. So let's try this one on. Okay, so I do feel like these are enough coverage to film without the bodysuit, but these are very similar to the classic bikini bottom. The rise is super low. These ones actually have a little bit more coverage. I would say it's like a medium coverage overall in the front. And then this side you cannot adjust. It only adjusts on this side, but the whole swimsuit itself is just on this one loop, if that makes sense. So it's all kind of adjustable. I personally find this like ruched style of swimsuit to just not be super functional. It's definitely a little bit more mobile, if you know what I mean. So you just might not get a lot of security in this. But in the front, it's overall okay. In the back, it's definitely thong coverage. So for me, I like a cheeky moment, but this is beyond just cheeky for me. So I definitely don't think this is bad. I think the bottoms definitely win over the tops, but just not my personal preference. And super quick, we're just going to finish this up with the micro triangle bikini top. And I don't know what I was expecting, but this is a super micro. So it is lined, again, no cut pads, because what cut pads would fit into this like 3 square inch area? It's just your classic triangle bikini. I may need to try this on with the bodysuit underneath because I honestly don't know how I'm gonna fit into this. Let's try it. Okay, so I just didn't trust that this could be possible to wear without anything underneath it because it's literally like 2 inches. And looking back, I was silly and I should have ordered like a large or something because you would have gotten a little bit more coverage, and it is fully adjustable around the neck and around the back. So that was my bad. I was just kind of going through and ordering my normal size, kind of not really thinking about that. So since this one is so adjustable with the sizing, I would definitely try to go with more like your bust size if you're interested in getting this. I always try to make recommendations, even when I don't really recommend things. But if these pieces catch your eye, I would go with the size that you think your bust would fit into. Like, I think I could do like a large or an extra large just for the extra bust space, because I'm like way out here and the triangle is super mini, even more mini than the classic bikini top. So I think this goes without saying, but low coverage. I'm still just upset with the lack of any sort of cut pads in here. And this is so small, you couldn't even fit like a little cakes cover under this, but this clearly wasn't made for any sort of functional activities. There's a necktie and a tie around the back as well. It's really just a classic string bikini. There's really nothing special about it. This one definitely reminds me most of the OG Kylie Swim with that super micro coverage. It is definitely better than that. We now have a lining on the inside, but honestly, I wouldn't say it's that much better. The only difference really is that lining. There's still no cut pads, there's still no support. It's still not really functional. So I thought this was gonna go better, and it just still feels like kind of like a flop. Maybe not Kylie Swim level flop, but somewhat of a flop. Okay, so I'm just gonna test this one in the sink. This is the only one that I'm like questioning in terms of sheerness, but I don't really feel comfortable trying this on when it's wet. Okay, so the inside like nylon layer is kind of like resisting water, but the outer polyester layer definitely like soaked it up. And I just wanted to see if you could like read anything underneath this. And this is without stretching it too much. I'm definitely seeing that elf text through this. And when I was wearing it, it was a little bit stretched. So this is why I would feel more comfortable with like a layer of padding in here, because I definitely think this orange has the potential to be a little bit sheer. It's not too bad, but definitely a little bit. Maybe we should just try the red too. All right, let's try the cherry red. Why not? First of all, you can't read anything through it when it's dry. So that inner layer just kind of like repels the water. Okay, and here we have it again. And honestly, I would say that that's pretty opaque. I don't think you would have an issue in this. Even if I really stretch it, I can see it a tiny bit. I'd say this red is dark enough that it's opaque. And just for good measure, with the orange, you're really not seeing anything through when it's dry. It's just when it's wet. Okay, that is everything from the Kylie swimwear drop. Like I said, they did have a lot of cover-ups as well, and I wanted to try some of those, but they limited me to 10 pieces. So we just started out with the swim. I could always try the cover-ups later, but I would say overall, I was expecting quite a bit more of a step up from Kylie Swim than what we got. We definitely had a ton more options overall, and I would definitely say the bottoms were a significant improvement. Some of those bottoms are definitely what I look for in swimwear bottoms. We had better coverage, more on par with what normal brands cover, you know, in terms of the bottom area. They felt like they stayed put pretty well. We had different rise options, different coverage options, so I really liked that. We definitely did not see the range of coverages and functionality for the tops though. I felt like the tops just really were not impressive to me at all. We actually did have lining this time, but there was no structure for any support. They're all definitely catered towards really small cup sizes, and just literally none of them had more than a low support. So that was interesting to see, just because the bottoms had improved so much, the tops just really weren't there. I didn't find the designs super flattering at all on the tops. Not a single one had cup pads either, which I know they're divisive, but they definitely offer some structure, shape, and nippage protection. And the one piece I knew was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I didn't expect it to look so bad on me. And overall, I'll say that the quality wasn't like super impressive. I didn't have any huge issues. Nothing really stood out from the quality. Sure, I didn't have any issues, but I don't find these functional enough to really like swim much in anyway, so it'd be hard to like really get those issues without trying them for that long. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure to do so. Let me know if you have any questions or video requests in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!